Are you sick and tired of gambling your hard-earned money on Madden packs? Look no further than my sponsor, MMOEXP, for the cheapest and most reliable MUT coins on the market. And don't forget to use code Ferdy at checkout for 5% off. What's going on, guys? Today we are grading every single Super Bowl present champion that is coming out today. This is one of the best content drops of the year, just the amount of 95s and literal top tier 95s. I'm not sure how they're going to continue progression in this game through March or April. Like, at this point, they got to slow down eventually. I'm not sure how, but we got 4 LTDs, 2 per team. We got a bunch of 95 champions. So let's just get into it. This is one of the best drops of the year. I feel like I've been saying that a lot recently, but ever since EA introduced these promo theme teams, they seem to be turning it up a little bit extra when it comes to upgrading the promo theme team. So Chase Young is one of the best edge rushers in this game right now. He's got 95 speed. So keep in mind, this card is without the lighted up strat card or lighted up token, whatever you want to call it. So potentially could get 96 speed. Also 97 finesse moves with 90 power moves. It's just that speed off the edge at 6'5", 260 is crazy. And unfortunately, they don't have the abilities with the cards right now, so we got to go over here and read them. But Chase Young does get Relentless for 0, Run Stuffer for 0, Blitz for 1 AP. I'm actually not too sure what Blitz does, to be honest. A quick interruption from me from the future. While editing this video, I did learn what the Blitz ability actually does. Blitz resets all blocker resistance across the whole offensive line. So in a way, it actually boosts all your defensive linemen and makes their offensive linemen worse. So a very broken ability. That's all I'm gonna say. This is very busted. Potentially, I don't know, maybe not as good as Unstoppable Force, but if you pair Blitz with a couple Unstoppable Forces, it might get scary. I would imagine it helps him blitz, though. I would imagine. You get double or nothing for 1 AP. We got buy one and get one free for 0, which is actually very good. Even no outsiders for 0 is pretty good too. With Edge Stride Elite for 2 and defensive rally. So this is actually a great time to talk about this right here. The in-game requirement bucket. They really weren't too clear. It was kind of confusing to me when I was watching the stream as to exactly what the in-game requirement bucket is. It feels almost like if they win and do something else, they are able to get -1 AP on one of these two abilities. So if the Niners win, there's a chance Chase Young is able to get 1 AP Edge Start Elite. But again, it was confusing to me when I watched the stream. So I'm not even going to try to explain it to you now. And I'm not even sure if they really were. So they try to explain it here. All Super Bowl present champions and LTDs and welcome player pack comes with a second custom ability bucket where if the player hits certain in-game requirements during the Super Bowl, all abilities in that bucket will be reduced except 0. So like, again, it's not clear as to what that is per player. Is it different for each player? We don't know. It's not that clear to us. So Chase Young, of course, good abilities. Chase Young is going to be a great card. This card's an easy A+, and that's going to be the common theme for a lot of these cards today. We then have Joshua Williams, 97 acceleration, 95 speed. Keep in mind, these champions are not shown with the lighted up strat card, so potentially 96 speed, 98 acceleration at 6'3". Can play man, can of course play zone. He's a man-to-man archetype cornerback. So with that being said, he's able to get short route for 0 AP if you light him up with pick artist for 0 or 1 step ahead for 1, which is very enticing. As a man-to-man guy myself, pick artist for 0 here too, though, so really no point in doing that. But short route KO for 1, medium route KO for 1 as well, with deep route for 2 and inside shade for 2 as well. And again, if he hits his in-game requirement, he's able to get 1 and 1. So again, Joshua Williams, if you're someone that plays a more zone coverage, he's probably not for you. But if you run man-to-man like me, this is going to be an amazing card. Because I know people are going to be like, he doesn't get deep out zone KO. I don't want him. That was kind of what happened with Mel Blount. But Joshua Williams also going to be an A+ with his size, his ability to be locked down in man coverage with that size, with these abilities to back it up. And you can kind of stack them and play with them and still keep it kind of cheap. Pause. But he's an A+. He's another A+ card for sure. Joshua Williams is simply insane. We then have MVS. MVS, you see the question here, him or Moss, and that's a great question. So 96 speed at 6'4", 206. Now, as far as the abilities go for MVS, he is able to get some pretty good ones. Slotto for 0 if you want to power him up or light him up with short and elite, and rack him up for 1, which isn't that great. Rack him up really isn't not that good. The base up for 1, deep out for 1, okay. Playmaker for 1, all right. Route tech for 2, and then red zone threat for 1. I would probably end up giving this card more like an A, thinking about it, because he doesn't get like the craziest wide receiver abilities, but it would be crazy if he does hit his in-game requirement and is able to get red zone for 0 at 6'4" with 96 speed. I'm still probably gonna give this guy an A+ actually, just because he is 6'4" with 96 speed, potentially 97, and immediately that kind of puts him into the Plexico Burris, Calvin Johnson conversation, minus some of the abilities in my opinion. So MVS, I give him an A+ too. Another very good card. We then have Justin Reed. So we're gonna talk about Justin Reed and Christian McCaffrey. This is the equivalent to what Chuck Howley and Hines Ward were for the past part of the promo. So you are going to need to level them up, and then you're going to have to use a 95 overall card. I believe it could be past or present to fully upgrade them. These cards right here, they do have their stats. I believe actually they may have changed it on mud.gg. No, they did not. So for some reason when they revealed the cards, they revealed these two with the lighted up already on them. So, and also they put the abilities here too for them. Pick artist for 0, deep route for 0, shutdown for 0. But I love the man and zone mix on this card at 6'1". Pick artist free, flat zone, deep in zones also great, medium route. Would have loved to have seen just deep zone KO for 2 with the potential to get it down to 1. But it is what it is. Justin Reed is still easily a plus card. And then Christian McCaffrey, fastest running back in the game right now. The one knock on this card is the lack of a discounted jukebox, in my opinion. That doesn't get it here, doesn't get it here either, but does get free joystick. And if you do end up lighting this card up, he's able to get evasive. But I would probably go yak him up on the card instead of that, because yak him up is very, very good. So CMC, no jukebox. He's obviously still going to play okay. He's got amazing, my bad, wrong adjective there, but another A+ here. This card is crazy. He's going to be a stud. We then have Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy, one of the 2 QBs in this game, or in this drop today, and he looks pretty good. I would probably take Mahomes. He's going to have the Gen 2 release. It looks like they are adding the X Factors to this page as we kind of go throughout this video. Maybe they just added them. But Hot Route Master for 1, QB Playmaker for 1, Gunslinger for 0, Set Feet for 4, Fearless for 2. Also Fearless for 0, Gunslinger 0, and Omniscient for 1. Omniscient is like having Identifier and Threat Detector in 1 ability for 1 AP. So it is actually pretty strong. So if you know what you're doing, you're kind of able to see what your opponent's in every single play on 3rd and 4th down pretty much. So Brock Purdy, he'll be a good card. I'm going to give him an A. I'm going to give him an A just based off release, and I would definitely still go Doug Williams over this card. I would probably still go Steve McNair over this card. But still, the ability to maybe get like a 0AP Hot Route Master, like 0AP Hot Route Master with, you know, and Set Feet, and then you can light him up and also give him Gunslinger or Omniscient is a pretty deadly combo. So I'm going to give him an A, but if he does get that -1 on that Hot Route Master, he could potentially be in that QB1 conversation without question. We then have Leo Chenal. This card's interesting. I would say he's definitely probably the worst card from today's drop. He does get Lurk Artist. I don't know how good he's going to be like mobility wise, you know what I mean, like as a user, but still 95 speed with good acceleration. A very interesting card. I don't think he doesn't have a place in my scheme, but if he does for you, that's great. I think I'm still gonna give him like an A, because he still has good speed. He still can be a good user or 6'1 linebacker with that speed, and also does have 90 power moves. I might go more A- on this card, honestly, for Leo Chenal, but still, he's good, but the worst card from today's drop. We then have Jerrel Brown, our final non-LTD. 5'11". No, your rookie premiere does not update, but 96 speed, 97 acceleration. Again, this card is not shown with the lighted up strat card or token, so you can get 97 speed potentially, but pick artist for 0, deep zone for 2. Okay, but that's what the guy's saying. So deep zone for 2, yes. And so potentially here, if Jair hits his in-game requirement from the Super Bowl, he's able to get deep zone for 1, which would just be stupid good. No matter what defense you're running, cover 2, cover 3, no matter where he is over the top, as long as he's over the top, he has those KOs. We all know how broken and frustrating KOs are. So potentially you can get deep zone for 1, pick artist for 0, and even like a mid zone 2 or reinforcement. Reinforcement is probably the play on this card if you do light him up. If you know about that reinforcement Palomalu. I mean, this card actually is probably going to be one of the best cards in the game. I think it's honestly worth lighting him up for 1 AP. Being able to get reinforcement on the whole game, an ability that I'm willing to pay 3 AP for, that's crazy. This card is going to be crazy. He's really good. Jerrel Brown, A+, definitely a top 3 card in the drop. Like, he's actually going to be very underrated. He might get overlooked, believe it or not. A very nasty card. Just nasty. We then have the limited time Shaquill Ward, another amazing DB, 6'1", 196. I believe they actually did make his card. His previous card, I believe, was actually decent at, I could be wrong on this, but I thought they made him pretty decent as a tackling stats. Yeah, 77 tackling. So he should be potentially at 80 tackling, which would be very good for a corner. You do see corners with a good hit power sometimes, but normally they lack in the tackling stats. So potentially Shaquill Ward might be able to have 80 tackling, which I'd have to give him hit power, but could be pretty solid. But you guys see the abilities, pretty standard. Potential for 1 AP deep zone KO, which is big. Also mid zone KO, also pick artist, bottlenecks, good for pressing, things like that. So another A+ card, one of the best corners in the game immediately when he comes out. We also do have a limited time Deebo Samuel for the 49ers. 5'11". This card could be crazy. I just wish this was yak him up instead. The one that Mike Vick and CMC is able to get, because I feel like it'd be better for Deebo Samuel. Being able to break the first tackle after the catch would just be broken, and it makes sense for Deebo, but he doesn't get that. Deebo Lee won't be that great because he's only 5'11", ankle breaker. I guess ankle breaker is kind of like that, where he breaks the first, like makes the first guy miss, which is pretty good, I guess. So I guess he has that, which will be free if you do light him up and give him 97 speed potentially. And then tank for 1, mid in for 0, deep elite for 2, again not great. Route tech for 2, evasive for 1, mid and elite. So decent wide receiver abilities. I personally would have liked to have seen an apprentice on this card because there are still people running setups without, hot route master. So it would have been cool to probably see him without, at least with one apprentice. But still, with these speed, with this speed, he's gonna be just stupid after the catch. Another probably A+. I mean, that's how good this drop really is. We then have George Karlaftis. Surprisingly, he's also going to be an A+, all because of this ability right here. Unstoppable Force is broken, and giving that to a man with 94 speed, 90 acceleration with this strength, finesse move, power move, play rec, block shed at 6'4", 260 is crazy. So Unstoppable Force, also 0 AP Demoralize, which is good for tackling. Even El Toro for 0 is crazy, and you can get on there and use her every once in a while and put a dude on their back, pause, but you know what I'm saying. Even potential, if he hits the in-game requirement for having Edge Threat Elite for 1 with Unstoppable Force, for like that setup for 2 AP off the edge is stupid. George Karlaftis is insane. He'll get overlooked too, I can almost guarantee that. And finally, we have limited time Patrick Mahomes. People are saying price over $3 million, potentially. I think there's a real chance he is. I do think there would be a pretty decent store offer tomorrow, so if you want to try to buy the card, I would look into try to be on the game at about 1:30, which is when this video is going to come out. I'm recording this the night before. But yeah, LTD Mahomes, man, he's similar to Ferdy in a way where he's able to get omniscient and backyard QB, but where he sets himself apart, to me, is run and gun. If you do end up getting Mahomes and you pay the price tag for this card, you should lay him up because you're also going to get the +1 speed everywhere, +1, which is big, obviously. But the run and gun for 1 AP, that ability being on the whole game is crazy. If you play from the pocket, maybe don't even spend your coins in this card, stick with Doug Williams. But if you run a lot of rolled out corners, you like freestyling, you notice yourself rolling out and having to make a tough play a lot, run and gun for 1 AP is so frustrating because they never miss. And in this year's Madden, throwing on the run isn't as consistent. So having a run and gun for 1 AP is crazy. Also, I do think Gunslinger is going to be almost necessary on Mahomes. He doesn't have the Doug Williams-like release, so I would definitely use Gunslinger on Mahomes, which does eliminate your hot route master flexibility. But I think that's honestly the play. If you're playing more from the pocket and you do get this card, maybe go backyard QB for 0, then go Gunslinger for 0, and then go set feet lead. I guess if you're playing outside the pocket, Mahomes throwing the run release is actually pretty good, so maybe you don't even need Gunslinger. You're able to go hot route, Gunslinger with hot route for 1, and then also set feet for 4. And again, if he hits his in-game requirement, potential for 3 AP set feet lead. So Mahomes, another A+ here. I think if his abilities were a little bit worse and his stats are obviously always going to be very good, but if his abilities were a little bit worse, he probably would be an AQB just because of his release. But with these abilities, they're undeniably the best flexibility-wise QB ability / X factors in the game once he's at his full potential. So do expect, I'm going to try to do the Mahomes gameplay and Ferdy gameplays for today. So make sure you are subscribed with those notifications on. And of course, as always, yes, I will see you boys in the next one.